Today we're going to show you how to prep your roll sizer decapper base to accept our new improved plate here. The reason you got to modify it is the plate. You notice there's a boss underneath here because of the way the shell holder goes in. The boss holds the screws, or the set screws, to hold that in there. So you're going to have to open this up right in this area so that this will actually sit down inside here to make it work. You can't go flush because the way the roll sizer decapper, the arm sits. You just either raise the arm or cut this, and it's easier to bring this down than try to bring that up. So we're going to show you how to do that. So when you get the kit, you'll have the plate, and you'll also have this printed template that's going to show you what's going to get cut out. And you can see it's a fairly large amount of space here. It's going to be cut. Just put your template in there. I'm just going to use these two screws, but you can use the shoulder bolts that come with the pegs to do this. Basically get those in there so it doesn't move. Get yourself a Sharpie, green, black, whatever, because you're going to basically color this area in so you know what you got to remove here. Take it out of there. You can see fairly large amount of material is going to be removed, and it's going to be removed pretty. Initially, it only has to go as deep as this to get in there, so this fits. When the sensor comes out, the sensor attaches here, and it's going to stick out about that much further. So there's going to be an area right in the back here. It's going to be relieved even deeper. We'll do another video when the sensor comes out that shows you how to relieve that even deeper. To get that to fit in there. So because you don't want the sensor on there, there's no reason for you to cut this thing up any more than you have to. So there's a couple of ways to do this. We've modified a couple of these. There's the good old Dremel way. Get yourself a Dremel and cut yourself in there. That didn't work out really well because the Dremel disc gums up pretty quick on this material. When this material gets hot, it gets nice and gummy, and it's hard to do. So what we've moved to is handheld routers. This is a 1/4-inch single flute bit on a handheld router. Now you're going to play with a handheld router on top of plastic. Keep both hands on this thing. Be very careful. This is some art to get this thing cleaned up and fit in there. So this is about taking a little bit and test, a little bit and test, and a little bit and test. And when it fits, don't take any more. So to start, you see this is in a vise right now. It's easier to film it like this. You can leave this on your roll sizer. All you're going to have to do in the top and connector with the rod that comes up from the shuttle, you're going to need to take that rod, disconnect the one screw, and slide that back. Don't slide it completely off. Okay, put some tape back here or something to keep it from sliding off. If you take that too far out, there's little bearings inside that slide, and they do come loose, and you'll have bearings all over your bench trying to figure out how to get them all back in there. The same thing, the top one here. All you're going to need to do is once that's disconnected, get yourself a 5/32. Come in and loosen this up. This nut is capped, so you don't got to worry about it. This nut on the bottom is actually inside here. You put your finger in there, you can feel it. But all you're really wanting to do is loosen this up so you can get it out of your way. You can remove it if you need to. We've done this. We've taken it off and then not taken it off. It still works, but if you move this out just enough, when you're pulling this out, it'll push itself back far enough for like this handheld router to fit in this space and cut. So you don't have to remove it completely. Just remember, you're going to have that shuttle on top of here that's holding the die. Pull the die, of course, but leave that shuttle on there. You can take the 4 screws and pull that whole piece off, but leave that that track on there so it doesn't come loose, and the same thing so the bearings don't come all over the place, get everywhere. Otherwise, it's pretty simple. It's kind of scary because you're going to cut up an expensive piece of plastic here. You can buy more of these if you mess this up so badly it doesn't work. But in reality, when we cut this, even the old one will come over and sit over this spot and still just leave the small hole there. So even if you take this off and put the old one back in, it won't really matter because it's still covered up. It won't expose anything it shouldn't be exposed. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go in and we're going to cut this thing. Like I said, be very, very careful. The iron router. This happens to be a nice Bosch one. You can pick these up at Harbor Freight if you don't have one. We found this is the easiest way. You can go at it with a Dremel if you really want to. If that's simple and for you, go ahead and use that. So now we have our marks on there. We know where we got to cut. It's going to get loud, so sorry. Now there's going to be some more to cut, but as you can see, sometimes you get this plastic pills up there. You are going to see the ribs in there. You're going to see holes going through there. That's fine. If you look underneath this, there's a bunch of ribs. This is a molded piece of plastic, so all these ribs are in there. You're not going to lose anything when you cut into these because there's a lot of ribs around there that's holding the plastic tube that holds the metal tube down here on the bottom. So again, little by little, you can come back to the template and see where you're missing on the template and go, okay, we still need to cut in there. You cut that back a little bit. Okay. Again, this is a slow, steady process. So out of there. See how that fits? Yeah, you are going to cut into this wall a little bit. That's not a big deal. It's where the cases fall through. No case is that small that can fit back underneath there. So, cut a little bit of away and you're going to lose a little bit of it, but that's not a big deal. All right, where are we? All right, so we still need a little up here. And looks like a little bit more there. And you can see where that little edge right is right there, so that's going to come out of there. Get close. Take the file. There's the last little adjustments in there to make that fit. There you go. Takes a little bit of work. Like I said, the slow and steady is what you want. And a little bit more in there still. But that's how you're going to do this. You can just work out a little bit at a time, until you get to where it needs to be. Until this just slides in and pops down. And it's in there. So, hopefully you're not afraid to chop some plastic. Be careful, like I said. It's a high-speed bit running around. You can leave it on machine or you can put it in a vise like we did here so you could see it. But it's all installed, ready to go. Now you just put your pegs back on. Put your shell plate in first. There's some set screws here. They come with it. It comes also with the Allen wrench because it's a really small 1.05. To get in there, that comes with the kit. You put it in there. Align them so that it's straight in here so the cases come straight. So, use your eyeball to get that thing so it's a straight in shot. And just put your pegs in. And there you go. As always, come get loaded.